Today on Comms by Camp Outside, we're going to take a look at my first POTA setup. And guys, I want your opinions. Let me know what you think. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Kevin, and this is Comms by Camp Outside, where your inside source for outdoor comms. Well, guys, I have been a ham radio operator since 1995. I was 15 years old when I got my technician license, my no-code tech as it was back in the day. I got into ham radio because I was in Civil Air Patrol as a kid, and I was doing ground team stuff and search and rescue stuff. And we had 2-meter handheld radios that we used on Civil Air Patrol frequencies. And I thought, well, if I'm going to have this radio, I might as well be able to use it on the ham bands as well. So I went ahead and studied for my no-code technician license. But I've always been interested in outdoor comms. So I stayed a technician for almost 30 years. As a matter of fact, I think it was 30 years, because last year at Hamcation, I finally upgraded to General. In 2025, I upgraded to General after 30 years as a technician. And I did it primarily because, being interested in outdoor comms, I learned about a thing in ham radio called POTA, or Parks on the Air. And I'm going to cover this for not only you ham radio veterans out there who know everything about POTA, but also for the folks who are interested in outdoor comms who might not know anything about it. So if I am covering things a little too generically for some of you experts, I apologize, but I really kind of want this video to be an introduction to POTA for folks who don't know anything about it. And if you're new to ham radio, or you're just thinking about getting into ham radio, welcome to my channel. I'm excited that you're here. POTA is this really cool thing. And basically what it is it encourages ham radio operators to get out into a park, to set up a temporary station, and to use their skills to see how many contacts they can make, how far of a contact they can make, basically to see what they can do in terms of portable and field use for their equipment. And this is a really good thing to do, I think. It has a really practical application in emergency preparedness, disaster response, all these things that I was always really into. And what kind of got me into ham radio anyway. And so, guys, I have wanted to do POTA for a while. Now, I've hunted some POTA activations, but I have never activated a park. And I am going to be leaving on a trip here really soon. And one of the stops along the way is going to be Santee State Park in South Carolina. And I've decided that that is where I'm going to do my first POTA activation. But before I do that, guys, I have been doing a lot of planning, making sure that I have everything that I need so that when I go, I am ready to go. And so I want to show you today my first POTA setup. So the first thing I want to do is just cover the gear. And I'm going to start with the antenna. And the antenna that I've selected, guys, is a spool antenna. So I'm super excited about this. I haven't used this antenna yet, but all my friends say this thing is amazing. And Vaughn and Julie with POTA Power, I know they use them all the time. And I interviewed Rob with spool antenna at Hamcation this year. Guys, if you want to check out that interview with Rob, check that out. I'll put a link right up there. And after deploying and recovering my end-fed half wave a bunch of times, where I was just bundling wire over and over and over again, I was like, you know what? I got to get one of these. So I stopped at the spool antenna booth at Hamcation, and I told Rob, I got to get one of these. And so I did, and they shipped one to me. I have serial number 1041 for you spool antenna fans. So I am super excited about this. So if you don't know, this is an end-fed half wave antenna on a spool. It covers 40 to 10 meters, so 40, 20, 15, and 10. And the awesome thing about this is the wire is just on the spool. It's got a BNC connector on the bottom, so it makes deployment really, really easy. And I'm going to be at the Raleigh Hamfest. And Spool Antenna has just come out with a new Spool Antenna Ultra. So I'm hoping to grab Rob when I'm there and do another interview with Rob about the Spool Antenna Ultra. And I might have to get one of those as well. But I need to use this one first. So I'm super excited. This is the antenna that I'm going to use. and I think it's going to make setup a breeze. I have the special spool antenna deployment tool, which is a pen that goes in the shaft of the antenna, and then you just, you know, roll it out and roll it up. So super excited about this. So that is the antenna. I think I'll be able to do pretty much everything I want to do POTA wise with that antenna. I know that, there are some bands obviously that this antenna doesn't work on, and I might get into those bands at some point in time for POTA activations, but I'll have to figure out an antenna for that purpose. But for now, this is the antenna. Now, to put this antenna up, we have to deploy it in some way. And so my mast of choice is going to be this portable telescopic carbon fiber mast. This is the Explorer. And I actually bought this. This is used. I bought this one from Vaughn and Julie. This was their mast. And so I know it's done a lot of POTA activations. So I am excited to use this. I think this is going to work really well. And of course, I have with me zip ties and paracord and all the kind of things that I might need, even stakes. I have all kinds of things that I can use in terms of deployment of the antenna, whether I'm maybe attaching it to a fence post or leaning it up in a tree or whatever. I've got all the things to kind of secure that if I need it. So that's the antenna, and that's how we're going to deploy it. The next thing I want to talk about is coax. And the coax I've decided, and this is brand new, guys. I just got this. This is ABR Industries coax, and I'm super excited about it. This is their ABR 240 Ultraflex, and it has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ferrite cores already built into the cable. It has the jacket on it to protect the cable. And then what I'm super excited about, guys, is it has their proprietary connectors, right? Where you can just add whatever connector you want. So I have BL259, which will go to the radio side for the radio I'm going to use. A BNC, which I'm going to use at the antenna side for the spool antenna. And then also I picked up a couple of SMA connectors, male and female SMA, just in case I'm using this with any of my 2 meter 440 or GMRS radios. Sometimes I'll like to throw an antenna in a tree for that kind of thing. So that cable is basically the cable I'm going to use. That one's 50 feet. I also have a 100-foot run in case I need it. And I actually have a couple of other ABR cables as well that I can go to if I need it. But I think that is primarily going to be the coax that I'm going to use. I really like the high vis color, especially when you're deploying at a park. I don't want people to, not see it and walk into it or step on it or that kind of thing. And I like the jacket that will keep it protected from abrasion and that kind of thing. One of the things that a friend of mine did mention, though, when he was warning me about that, he said, hey, if you're deploying it in sand and stuff, that cover on the coax tends to collect sand. So I'm going to be a little careful in how I deploy it. I'm going to try and keep it clean because I don't want to track a whole bunch of sand and stuff back into my gear. So I'm going to have to evaluate that and see how I like that. The next thing I want to do, guys, is show you the radio. I'm going to turn the camera around so we can get this set up. All right, guys, so the radio that we use is stored in this Apache case. Of course, I peeled the Apache label off and put a Comms by Kemp Outside sticker on there because, got to have that. But in this case is my first HF radio. And this radio was given to me right after I received my general license. And I really, really love it. And it is an old Kenwood TS430S. And sure, there are other radios out there that I could use for POTA, probably would be smaller, probably would be easier to deploy. But you know what? This one is mine. And none of those other radios are mine. So, probably as things go, eventually I will go ahead and change to a different radio with, maybe something that's a little bit easier. I might even build a Go box or something like that. But for now, this radio is my only full size or high power HF radio. I do have a QRP radio that I just got that I'm going to be doing some videos on soon. I'm going to learn how to use that radio, but this one is my radio. So I've got my power cord here with an Anderson connector, and we're going to get into how we power this in a minute. I've got my speaker mic, and then the radio itself is an old Kenwood TS430S. So try not to destroy my foam here. But not having much luck there. I'll just pop this back in. Close that down. And there we go, guys. So nice Kenwood TS430S. Works great. Does almost everything I want it to do. I would love to do FT8 on it, but I don't necessarily know how to make that happen. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So if anybody has some tips for hooking up maybe a digi-rig to this or something like that to do FT8, I'm all ears. One of the pieces of advice I kind of got was, if you really want to get into FT8, there are a lot easier radios. If you're thinking about upgrading to a newer radio anyway, don't bother trying to get this thing on FT8. So with that advice, that's probably good advice, but anyway, just something I'm thinking about. Next thing I want to do is I want to show you how I'm going to power this radio. I'm super excited about this. Let me go show you my power box. All right, guys, so here is my power box. It's basically a 100 amp hour watt cycle mini battery that I built into a power box. This is my camping power box, so it powers all kinds of things. It has a 700 watt inverter in it. It has an onboard 20 amp battery charger. It's got all the USB-A, USB-C, Anderson, and cigarette plugs I could need. It's all powered on switches. Basically right here is my Anderson plug. So, and everybody say hi to Tiller, who's checking things out. But basically, this box is how I'm going to power the radio to begin with. Yes, I know it's very big, but most of the time I'm going to be doing POTA either at my campsite or out of my van. So I'm not really going to have to lug this very far. So I'm not super worried about it in terms of portability. One thing I also have is I have a couple of 100 amp hour lithium batteries in battery boxes that are pretty easy to carry as well. So if I didn't want to carry this, I could power it off some 100 amp hour lithium batteries. I don't have at this point any batteries that are smaller than 100 amp hours. So obviously that is on the list of things to do, is maybe get a 20 or a 50 amp hour battery, something I can put in a little Apache case or something like that, maybe make myself a battery box. But for now, this is what I got. And for those of you who want to see the guts of the thing, there's the 100 amp hour mini battery from Watt Cycle. I have a lead time 700 watt inverter, a 20 amp charger from lead time. I have a Victron Smart Shunt in there so I can tell what my battery capacity is. I've got a battery switch, fuses, everything I need right there in the battery box. The last thing I want to talk about is logging, guys. So logging is a really big, important part of POTA. And I've decided to use the World Radio League app on my iPad. One of the beautiful things about that is if my iPad is running low on power, I can easily plug it into my battery box because I've got USB connections there, so I can keep my iPad charged up so I can do the logging really easily. So guys, this is it. This is my POTA setup, at least for now. What do you think? What am I missing? What would make my POTA activations easier? Guys, let me know. I'm admittedly a little nervous about this, right? I've watched, I've watched other people do POTA activations, and I really enjoy watching Vaughn and Julie do it. But they work together, and I love the way they handle pileups and stuff like that because they just tag team everything. And I'm going to be solo, so I'm kind of worried about logging, listening, transmitting. All those things all at the same time. It's going to be a totally new experience for me, but I'm really excited to do it. And I can't wait to get to Santee State Park and do my first POTA activation. And so be sure to follow me on Facebook, right? Follow Comms by Camp Outside on Facebook. I'm going to put a link down in the description below because I will spot myself on my Facebook page. I'll try to spot myself elsewhere too, like the POTA app and stuff like that. That's a whole other thing I got to learn how to do, right? But I'm going to try and spot myself. But be sure to follow along, guys, because I am going to uh, let everybody know when I'm doing my first POTA activation, and hopefully it'll go well. And of course, I'm going to record it and I'm going to make a video on it. And so you're going to see how terrible I am at this whole POTA activation thing. But guys, this is what ham radio is all about, right? It's all about learning. It's all about doing new things. One of the cool things about ham radio, and one of the older guys in my ham radio club said to me a couple months ago, he said, Kevin, you could do a different thing in ham radio every day for a year, and not do the same thing twice. And he is absolutely right. There are so many things to do in this hobby, but one of the things I think is super cool is taking your gear out into nature and practicing your radio operation skills to make contacts around the country and around the world. So I'm super excited to do that. Guys, again, let me know what you think. Let me know what I'm missing. Give me some encouragement. Be sure to follow along because we're going to be doing a lot more POTA stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more HF stuff on this channel. So I'm super excited about that. This is kind of our first venture into that direction on the channel. And yeah, it only gets better from here, guys. So again, let me know what you think. Drop some in the comments below. Also connect with us on our other social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, or my website at kempoutside.com. Guys, I'm Kevin, and this is Comms by Kemp Outside, where your inside source for outdoor comms. Thanks for watching. Be gentle with me in the comments. Be gentle, right? No, I'm sure you guys will be great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you outside.